Yeah, Hunter, I want you to hear me out here, right? It's like your snowboarding minigame. You're thinking, oh, damn, this is sick. How cool. Then you wait for it. And as he swoops in on his motorbike, Roche is back from Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's a boss fight while you're snowboarding down the hill.
That'd be so good. I would love it.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm on your host today, Ethan, and joining me as always are my good friends, Kyle.
Hello.
And Hunter, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
Welcome back, Kyle. How was your time?
It was pretty good. Yeah, for those unaware, I don't even know if I brought this up on the podcast or not, but last weekend I was out in Wisconsin for my cousin's wedding. Everything went well. It was good to see him. And I want to thank you boys for keeping me company on my plane rides back to New Hampshire.
We made it 2 hours just for that. That was the reason.
Yeah.
We made
Legit, dude. I had 2 hour-long plane flights.
Yeah, that's the reason. It wasn't the fact that me and Hunter really underestimated how much we could bitch about the game industry last week. It just happened to be one of those things.
Yeah.
But no, welcome back. I assume
episode.
is this your first kind of family kind of wedding in this kind of age bracket? Because I feel like, you know, we're in our mid-20s now, and I feel like it's getting to the point where family that are around similar or age ranges or friends and stuff like that, people start to get married now, and that's when the scary, that's oh shit, people have sorted their lives out, and here I am playing Assassin's Creed Mirage for the PlayStation 5. What has happened? It's just going to be one of those things now that once one happens, that's it. Now the ball starts rolling, and now you just spiral. This is the future.
Yeah, this isn't the first wedding in this age bracket of cousins, but this is the first one that I was invited to. The cousin who just got married.
Drama.
No, shut up, Ethan. I'm not done talking yet. The cousin that just got married, his sister got married back during COVID, so during lockdown, so obviously no one was allowed to leave.
No drama, just the Rona. Feels bad.
And I wasn't flying out to Wisconsin in the middle of a pandemic. I don't like Wisconsin that much.
Just not flying to Wisconsin. It's fine.
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
What's even in Wisconsin?
Because it's because I've been to family weddings and stuff like that, and they're fine, right? They're all right. You get the job done. I missed my I had a friend, one of my best friend from primary school got married, and I was away in Berlin, and my parents didn't tell me this until 2 weeks beforehand, so I felt like a right little dickhead, and was really annoyed. So yeah, if you're listening to this, parents, that's your fault. Still pissed at that. They know about this place. They could listen. They won't. But this is the one episode I like. Let's see what Ethan thinks about Assassin's Creed Mirage. But no, I've got a friend who's engaged now. One of my close friends, in my friend group, is engaged. Another one's been in a long-term relationship. The ball is starting to roll, and I'm I don't like this, because then it's just it's one's down, another one down. It's the last remaining few, and it's I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't feel safe anymore.
Yeah, I think one of my friends from high school, he's either has already been engaged or is considering it. I don't keep in close enough contact with him at this point, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's that time, and it's one of those things where it's I don't feel 25. I'm nearly 26. I don't feel 26 either. And it's one of those things where it's I can keep saying I don't feel it and I don't look it either, but I am, and everyone else has seemed to have clicked onto this, and I'm just sitting here no, I refuse. I refuse to proceed with my life. You can't make me, as I hold my breath and scream. But anyway.
Well, hey man, you know what they say. 26 is plenty 6.
No, I'll be getting that message in a month. Anyway, this is the HGO podcast. We're every Monday around 12 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. UK time. Nearly flipped it. On podcast services out at youtube.com.
Imagine if you were able to do that.
I am God, Hunter. You do not know my power, young man. You do not know my power.
Ethan is the next Time Lord.
Oh, that is true.
That's
Move
why
over,
he's
shooty
British.
Gatwa. I am the next Doctor. You know, they the BBC, Carl, they're just sitting there you know what? We haven't had enough of white guys. They just haven't had enough of that. We're just going to, let's roll it. Yeah. They're finally starting that diversity. Now they're hang on a second. Let's not. No. Anyway.
We changed our minds.
We changed our minds. With the way the UK government is, they might be forced to. It's great. I love this country.
Hear me out. We can get whiter.
Oh dear. Anyway, I don't know how to even transition this. We are close to 300 subscribers. We're like 7 subscribers away.
Close.
So if you are not subscribed to us on youtube.com/hotgamersonly, want to keep supporting us through whatever this is, then please do so. That'd be greatly appreciated. Let's hit 300.
If people make it to
Halloween.
the video game talk today, I'm going to be impressed.
Yeah, let's get to 300 before Halloween. That'll be fun, be spooky. We usually wear costumes and stuff like that on Halloween. So if you aren't subscribed to the YouTube, get on in here, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you can see our terrible cosplays that we do every year. You've got a backlog of like 3 or 4. How many? I did one the first year, and then it was a tradition starting year 2. So it's like, I feel you've got quite a few to go over now.
I had a thrown together costume the first year as well.
I didn't know we were doing anything.
Yeah.
No one told me. No one told me.
We just felt it. Me and Hunter felt it, we're just kindred spirits. We were just like, I feel a half-assed cosplay coming on here.
Hunter dresses like Halloween every day.
It's true. He does dress like Halloween.
He cheated.
He cheated because all of his clothes are Halloween costumes.
I mean, he's got a point, Hunter. He's got a point. The Starfield review is out on YouTube as well right now. I spent way too long on that, so if you go to YouTube and go watch it, give me some feedback, that'd be great. And it means that I'm officially done with Starfield. As the Starfield saga is over of my life. I'm happy about that, to be honest. We'll see you in 8 years for the Elder Scrolls 6. I can't wait. It's going to be great. I'm sure it will be.
I'm not gonna pick up any of their sweet DLCs.
I will play their deal. Oh, I forgot about it. I've already technically bought one because I bought the premium upgrade to play it a week early. So yeah, you're right, Hunter. I will have to go back and play that. What a shame. More Starfield.
Will
everybody.
you be there for Oblivion remaster?
Fucking. We'll see how I feel. Too much effort, Cal. Too much.
That's fair.
I can play one of these every 8 years, but any longer, no. Any shorter, nah. We can't deal with that. But yeah, it's out there. Thank you so much for the support so far, both on the Axolotl review and the Starfield review. They've both been doing pretty good, so thank you for that. We appreciate it. There should be a review of Assassin's Creed Mirage coming this week on hotgamersonly.com and at youtube.com/hotgamersonly. Why? Because it's super short, so we are able to do a week kind of grind set on that one. It's fine. And then yeah, we got Spider-Man, we got Mario Wonder, we got Alan Wake 2. There's some other stuff that's coming out later in November and stuff like that. We got a lot of stuff coming, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Before that out of the way, I don't think I've missed anything. Have I missed anything? I'm trying to remember.
So. You hit both the reviews.
I did all the chat boxes. And we're all good. Okay, cool. Let's get straight into it then. We're starting off with our main topic this week, which is Assassin's Creed Mirage First Impressions. Assassin's Creed is a good franchise and it is back, ladies and gentlemen, in Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's available.
Tell me how good Assassin's Creed
I would like to
is.
remind potential long-time viewers about that one time that Ethan just picked up all of his Assassin's Creed games and threw them.
Yeah. I have enough one to add to the pile now, I guess. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Mirage is available on PS5, Xbox, and PC, and everywhere you can play it except a Nintendo Switch for some reason.
I'll give it 2 months. They'll have a cloud version.
It didn't get the MK1 treatment.
No, it did not get the. It did not get the whatever the hell treatment.
It'd be really funny if, instead of Assassin's Creed Mirage, the Nintendo Switch got Assassin's Creed 1.
Yeah, it would be funny, to be honest. It'd be pretty hilarious. But yeah, it came out Thursday, so I've put a whopping 15.5 hours into this game of Assassin's Creed Mirage. I've played it, baby. So yeah. And let me put this into perspective. First of all, if you were mad that because there's some fuckers, I know you're sick and twisted. There are some listeners of our podcast who were very disappointed when I was extremely excited for Starfield and then it came out and I liked it. I know some of you were very mad that you did not see me upset about not liking a video game I was anticipating for a long time. Oh, yeah, come on in. It's your time, guys, because I'm really disappointed with Assassin's Creed Mirage. I don't know. It's a mixed bag. That's how I've described it on the thumbnail. Assassin's Creed Mirage is a mixed bag. It's such a weird video game. First off, 15 hours. It's really short. to the point of if I had actually focused on the main story, I'd already be done and have rolled credits. I've collected every collectible in the game already. I'm over 60% of the way through the story in that 15 and a half hours.
Yeah.
This game is 20 hours max, probably
15 hours,
25.
that's like allegedly 75% of Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. But the difference is, Hunter, is I feel like Spider-Man 2 is
Will
a
be better.
pretty good game. Yeah, like, right. Here's the thing: it's a mixed bag. There's some really good things about Assassin's Creed Mirage. There's plenty of bad about Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I just come out of it going, I don't feel like anybody wins here. I feel like if you're a fan of the old school Assassin's Creed design, there's stuff here that'll scratch that itch a tiny bit, but I don't think there'll ever be a point where you're going, you know what, this is my favorite of this, and I would not rather go back to any of the other dozen of them that came out beforehand. And same for new people, it has some of those kind of new Assassin's Creed like mechanics and little intricacies, like the eagle from the Origins saga is back, and the loot mechanics and all that stuff where you fly in the air and it marks 6 bajillion collectibles on the map, like, of course, because it's a fucking Ubisoft game, right? It's got all that stuff. But at the same time, it's so strapped back and there's none of that RPG mechanics that I don't think people that played those will be particularly fond about this as well. And I feel like you could go, okay, doesn't matter. Have we got a good story here, Ethan? And the answer to this is quite possibly the most insignificant, boring Assassin's Creed story I've ever played. And this is coming from somebody who wasn't particularly thrilled by Assassin's Creed storytelling in the past. Like, the writing's awful. And this is a Ubisoft game. I'm already going in with the expectations of pretty mediocre writing. And it's somehow worse. And I think it doesn't help that I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla this year, and I hate Assassin's Creed Valhalla with a fucking passion. I do not like that video game. I do not think it's good. I don't think there is 20 good hours of content in that game, never mind 100 that it expects you to play. I don't think it's very good.
So much he got the plat.
Apparently so. I had a week off, Kyle. I was very bored. It was.
He had
But
taxes
the one
to do,
thing,
man.
the one thing that game has that everything else is fucking awful in that video game, but the one thing it has are really good characters and a story I actually quite like. I think Valhalla has probably one of the better stories in Assassin's Creed. I like it quite a bit. So to then take the engine of Valhalla and take a lot of gameplay from Valhalla and mash together the old school Assassin's Creed bits and pieces into it, and then have a story that sucks, it just kind of ends up feeling like it's a master of none situation where I don't think there's anything in here that is particularly great other than the world is cool. Like, I like Baghdad as a setting, and I think that the team that worked on this made it really, like, did a really good job, and it feels like one of the better Assassin's Creed worlds where we've all played them before, right? You'll play like an assassin. You'll play like, well, you haven't, Cal, but most people played an Assassin's Creed game before, where you'll be running around in Assassin's Creed 1, and you'll have people who very much sound like they are from the Middle East, right? You've got those accents. Then you've also got people with American accents and people with weird and the acting's not great, and there's this kind of uncanny kind of thing, and everyone's just like, it's the Animus, guys. We'll just write it off. It's the Animus. Whereas this game actually does feel like it's got those characters and it's nailed it down. Where it's like, okay, these characters do feel like they're from Baghdad. They feel like they have the accents. There's like the only time that I've ever had someone throw me off is this one kid that was in the game, which is always kid voices, right? But you know, just an American
Always
kid, and you're like,
voices.
this is stupid. Like, this is the one voice that it doesn't sound like it's appropriate, and it's like, whatever. But for the most part, they've done a really good job of the world. It feels really good. They also do, which I really like, is a lot of the time in Assassin's Creed games when you're walking around in a place where you like, I get it, there's like a 50-50 on whether you like this or not, where the Animus translates everything into English, or you've got people talking the actual language and dialect of those places in the background when you're not like NPCs that you're not listening to, right? This game has gone full in, like, everybody's speaking Arabic or some kind of like languages that are appropriate for the time and place, and like only main characters are speaking English. The Animus is only translating that, and I really like that. I think that's great, because the amount of times you're going around Italy and other than like some Mamma Mia's and like some very stereotypical stuff,
It's a meme,
everybody's speaking in
Mario.
English. Yeah, for the most part. So I like that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's some things to like. I like the characters are fine. There's the mentor. I can't remember any of their names because their names are so forgettable. But the mentor, there's like she's like an older woman who becomes your mentor after basically Basim. He's a street thief. He basically kills the leader of the country. I don't remember what the name of the person is. Can't remember. Anyway, this is how great the story is. I'm not paying attention.
15 hours, by the way.
Would he be
He's a thief.
assaulted?
Yeah, it's not salted. But
Okay.
anyway, he goes into the palace. He tries to steal this disc, which is obviously a piece of Isu tech, which is if you're in the Assassin's Creed, there's the people from before who have the future tech, who have the apples of Eden, all that garbage, right? So he nicks one of those. He has a reaction to it. They end up killing him.
I hate
They
it
end
when
up
I'm
killing the
allergic
guy
to
in
future
self-defense.
stuff.
They run away, and Basim basically has to flee the city, goes with the assassins, becomes an assassin, and then he's back in Baghdad to rectify the order being there. Blah 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 blah. It's at that point now, Assassin's Creed, where it's so convoluted that it's like, I wish they'd pick a lane. I wish they'd either go all in or nothing. And now it's in this thing where it's like, you hear William Miles narrate the intro cutscene, and then the Animus isn't mentioned at all ever again, but you've still got the artifacts and it's stuff like that. And it's like, it's in this weird period between Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed 1. So it's not the Assassins and the Templars, it's the Order and the Hidden Ones. And it's like, I just wish that we just pick a lane here where it's just like, can we just lock it down and can we just make our minds
It's
up?
really weird to me that after, they decided to pretty much, with 3, it seemed like they were like, okay, you know what, let's just pretend like the present day stuff isn't really here. And it's weird to me that they didn't just be like, okay, let's just tell you stories about cool assassins from different historical periods without any of the extra nonsense.
Yeah,
Well, you see,
are
to
all
me,
as an outsider to Assassin's Creed, are all of the games connected to each other?
yes,
In the most
every single one.
convoluted string theory detective corkboard way possible.
So
yes.
basically, Kyle,
That
I
sounds
will give
dumb.
you, gather around, kids. If you're new here, let's give Kyle
Give me the
quick
crash
little-
course.
Let's give him a crash course. So Assassin's Creed first came out in 2007,
Correct.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Tells the story of this character in the present day called Desmond Miles, who was captured by a company called Abstergo and basically forced into a machine that let them basically relive memories from his ancestor because they were after something in the past that they needed to know the location of. So they were using his basically in Assassin's Creed world, your DNA holds basically all of your ancestors' memories, so they can
Alright.
access it and you can replay them.
Cool concept.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. All right, here's the thing: is everyone loves to shit on the future storyline. I was 10 when this video game came out. I fucking loved the future shit because I was like, it's so janky. My 10-year-old brain loved this shit. It was so cool, and I still like it because of that. And I'm like, fair enough. If you're an adult that you played Assassin's Creed, yeah, it's dumb as fuck, but I like it. And then in 2, you go to a different ancestor. Basically, you relive his memories, Ezio, because you're both related to Desmond. And in
I've heard
3,
of that one. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the best
Connor.
one.
Yeah, Connor, who is the Native American from the Civil War. Again, he's related to Desmond. So
War.
The first 3 are all related to Desmond, effectively. So that's how that works. Then they kill off Desmond in Assassin's Creed 3.
Naturally.
Because they wanted to get rid of the future storyline. So in Assassin's Creed 4, you still have the future story with Abstergo, who's that company. But now, 4 was stupid. They were like, you're working for Abstergo, and Abstergo, one of their departments, is making video games. And you are basically a game developer who is reliving Edward Kenway, who is a pirate's life, to make it into a video game, essentially. Who is also related
Bold
to
of
Desmond,
Ubisoft to
that.
cast themselves as the villain in their own game.
Yeah, basically. It's funny. Then in 5, similar concept, but you're just a random person who's at home and playing Abstergo games on your TV, and the assassins hack into it and like, we want you to relive these memories because we need you Billy No Mates to find somebody. Again, stupid. And then in Syndicate, they start bringing it back to like, okay, the assassins are back here, characters we're bringing the future stuff back. And then they just keep back and forward in it with no semblance anymore. They just these assassins aren't related, there's no reason for you picking them. We're just like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. until now. And there
Yeah.
is a reason to do Basim, who was the main character. The main character in this one, Basim, was an assassin in Valhalla. So he was a character in Valhalla who basically brought Ivor into the assassins, was who this Basim is. And this Basim, it seems to be a new, very important character. He's kind of, I don't know, spoilers for Assassin's Creed Valhalla if you haven't wasted 100 hours of your life on that video game, but Basim is kind of the villain of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because it then turns out that not only were these people in the before times called they were the Isu, right? I'm getting that right. Is that right? Assassin's Creed? Yeah, they are called the Isu.
Basim so basically, was also like a Norse god or something, right?
So Kyle, imagine in the before times, gods were actually real, but they were just like the people before humans, and then everything happened, the meteor struck or whatever, disaster happened, and then we're the what remains. We're basically
rip the dinosaurs.
Yeah. So then Assassin's Creed Valhalla decides, well, it happened in Odyssey
Assassin's Creed.
They jumped the shark even more, and they were basically like, oh yeah, you know those gods that lived in the past time? Yeah, they can reincarnate. And so Ivor was Odin, and then also Basim is Loki. So Basim is a reincarnation of Loki, because of course he is. And in the end of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you trap him in a machine, which in the present day, we open up. So Basim's in the future now. This is great storytelling. We love Assassin's Creed.
I can't believe we set Loki free.
Yeah, so we set Loki free.
You can't have anything in Assassin's Creed.
And it seems like he might now be the main...
You can't believe the humans in the future wouldn't set Loki free? That's like the first thing we would think to do.
So he might be
it said, don't set Loki free, right?
Oh, that would definitely open it.
So he might now be the main protagonist / antagonist in the future story. So I know they're doing anything with this in this game, Mirage. Fuck no, are they? We're doing the bit before he even knows he's Loki, because you have to regain your memories. So you're just playing as Basim as he's just been born, like he's just been reborn in this time period. He thinks he's from this period. He thinks he's he's a street thief. He grew up, blah 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 blah. So that's why they're playing this character. But
you thought I was Aladdin, but it was me, Loki.
The reason I'm bringing all this up, and a lot of you Assassin's Creed fans are probably, one, pissed off that I'm doing such a terrible job of butchering this story, and two, are pissed off why
I feel
are you
like you skipped over like 6 games.
Why is this relevant in the slightest? And the reason I think it's relevant is because if you've played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you have seen Basim and you've been through his story, and you probably think he's a bit of an arsehole and you don't like him. And now this is like, hey guys, play a whole game as him. He's more likable. And I'm like, yeah, but I know who he is in the future. He's a dickhead. I don't like him. I don't care. You've got a different voice actor for some reason, which throws me off, because it's not even like he's a character from fucking ages ago. You could have rehired the fucker. What's happening here? And it's just like, it just all feels like this feels like a DLC, and it was supposed to be a DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I was gonna ask that eventually. It was if it felt like it was just a DLC that got expanded.
And it 100% does feel like a DLC, and I feel it doesn't even feel expanded, Hunter. It really doesn't.
Oh.
Because it's 15 hours long. The main story you could easily blitz through in 12 to 15 hours if you didn't do what I did, which was gather all collectibles. Which to me is like, fair enough. It's a cheaper game. You get it for less. But again, it's like, I feel like they made it like, hey, you can see what this important character to our story supposedly was like in the past. I'm like, that's cool. But also, again, if you've played Valhalla, you probably don't like him that much. And if you haven't, you have no attachment to this character whatsoever. So all you're getting is this terrible dialogue and this boring story. So it's like, I feel like it's a lose-lose for everybody in the story department, where it's like, you're getting
There's
nothing.
Some very funny version of events where someone who's like fallen off the series picks this one up and then goes, oh, it's connected to the one that was before. It's like, I don't know, it might be a situation where it's like, oh, maybe I like the rest of it, but think the main character sucks, and then play Valhalla, and it's like, oh, I knew it, he did suck.
Maybe.
There was a part of me that thought about picking this game up.
Really?
I didn't think very hard about it, but I did think about it.
Well, my opinion on that is it's a terrible place to start, because again, I feel like this is a game built for people who like the original Assassin's Creed, and there's some cool stuff here that I like, and there's some stuff that I feel like they do deserve credit for. For example, as I mentioned, I think the world's pretty good. It's a really good sized world. It's really small, and I like that. Going from Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla, which are these massive fuck off maps that are so huge and lack so much substance, it's unreal. It's just, here's 6 bajillion collectibles and a couple of fucking bases here and there. And I'm like, wonderful. That's great. Whereas this game, it feels a lot dense. It's just one city. It's just Baghdad. And that's it. And it's like, cool. I can say, you can get all the collectibles and half the story done in 15 hours. That's great. I really like that. I also like, and I'm really happy that they have this, they got rid of the stupid RPG leveling systems from the current games. Thank you.
Good.
I honestly think that there is this beautiful hybrid that could be made of an Assassin's Creed Odyssey or, Red coming up. I don't think Red needs level progression and weapon powers and all this shite. I don't think it does. I honestly think having different armors give you different benefits or different stat increases, and having weapons do the same thing, but everything be fine and viable on everybody, and not having people be 5 or 6 levels above or below you. Perfectly fine with that. Not missed it in the slightest. Sounds really stupid. Bringing back stealth into Assassin's Creed, really appreciate that. If you've played any of the RPG ones in the past, a game about assassins, not had good stealth. This game, pretty good stealth.
Classic.
The Hidden Blade, one-hit kill again. They brought stuff back like throwing knives. Really appreciate that. They don't feel shit and under-leveled. Really appreciate that. The gadget upgrade system, like that quite a bit. It's basically, you upgrade them to tier 1, 2, and 3, and there's like 3 options for each one, and you get to choose one of them. You get to like pick one of them, and they each have completely different benefits. It's like your throwing knives can deal more like for tier 1, it'd be like you can choose whether they throw further, do more damage, or do this, and you can kind of tune them to the way you like them, and I like that. I think that's a good system. Like that again. I feel stuff like this a lot better than these stupid number games. I really hate this God of War system that everybody else seems to really want to do. The kind of Destiny system of this.
It's not even good in God of War.
No, it's not. It's my least favorite part of God of War. I really don't like that system, but it's there to stay, and I hate it. But it does a really good balance of that. The way that costumes and stuff like that have different color reskins. We've seen a lot of games are doing this recently. I like that you can just change the colors of your suit to different ones, have different options for that. Right, like that quite a bit. It being shorter, I appreciate that, because Assassin's Creed has got unbelievably long, where it's not worth your time. All 3 Origins is about 40 hours just to do the main story. Odyssey is about 50, and Valhalla's 100. It's stupid. We don't need these long video games. Thank you for making it shorter. Appreciate that. There's a lot of throwbacks to Assassin's Creed 1, because this was obviously made to celebrate the 15th anniversary. They've missed it by a little bit, but it was meant to celebrate the 15th anniversary. There's a load of cool stuff. From little things like Altair's outfit being available as a bonus, you can use that. I don't know if you've ever seen, Kyle, but Assassin's Creed 1 is very much a game of its era, where if you go and look up gameplay, it has that kind of sepia grayscale feel to it. So even though it's like a game set in the Middle East, everything looks grey and a bit miserable. Hunter will know this. I've just said Hunter.
A PS3
Assassin's Creed 1 has like a
game.
PS3 kind of sepia filter to it, doesn't it? Where everything looks grayed out and
where
monotone.
The only
this game has a
place with color in the first game was Damascus.
Yeah, this game has a fun little feature, like a little toggle where you can turn it to have that sepia filter again if you want it to feel like the first one. And I was like, that's
cool.
cute little addition that you didn't have to do, which I really like. That's fun. There's a cool little there's a mechanic in this game for when you're stealing off people, you're pickpocketing. There's just like a little quick time event, which I like, because in all Assassin's Creed, if you've ever been a deviant like me, you're literally just walking the streets holding the X button and just stealing from every fucker that's next to you. Just like, you don't even have to do anything.
Sploinky.
Making it a bit of a skill game. I like that quite a bit. There's some good stuff here, and there's some stuff where I'm like, there's a couple of references, like there's a couple of times where you have to eavesdrop on people, so you have to sit down on a bench next to it like you did in the original Hunter and listen in. It's like cute little stuff like that. They also brought back from Unity, which I really like, which is the kind of Hitman-esque level design of here, your assassin target is in the middle of this, and there's like 2 or 3 different ways to solve it. Pick and choose how you want to take it on. like that stuff. Again, bringing back the assassins to Assassin's Creed. I like that quite a bit. It's a
Imagine.
shame it's been gone for nearly half a decade. That's crazy. In fact, it has been half a decade because it was 2016. So yeah, crazy. In fact, it wasn't 2016. It was 2015. Assassin's Creed Syndicate's that. Oh my god, it's been 8 years. Anyway,
Damn. That's almost a decade.
there's a lot of stuff to like, but then there's so much shit. And it was like I'm putting through, boring story, can live with it. Missions feeling a bit kind of repetitive, fine. Some of the challenges being absolute dog shit. Oh my god. I was so angry. There's a trophy in this game for getting 10 kills from a crowd, which, if you've played an Assassin's Creed game, shouldn't be a challenge. But they made this basically, to hide in a crowd, Kyle, you need 3 people. This game decided, hold my beer, guys. What if we make every group of people on the street either 1 person or 2 people, aka not groups? So let's do that so that they can get this achievement super easy. And then let's also make it be pissy. Let's be specific and pissy about it so that you can't just stab somebody out of a crowd. You have to make sure that you still have the crowd status as you're killing them, which crowds break apart when you kill people. So it's like a fucking trick shot on if you get it or not. And I'm like, this is stupid. It's really fucking dumb. When they said we're going back to like basics, Assassin's Creed 1 style, I thought we'd have the modern capabilities of a PS5 or an Xbox Series X game, not
They're
going
like,
back
"Oh, we
to the
went
tech
all
of
the way back."
2007. Yeah. It's
You don't even
fucking
get some of the
stupid.
Assassin's Creed 2 accoutrements.
Yeah. Obviously
Little
stuff
you
like
know, you drown when you touch the water too.
you can swim in this game, thankfully.
Oh,
No.
luckily.
Obviously they brought back the old notoriety system, ripping down posters, all that jazz,
Oh, nice.
that kind of fun stuff, like that quite a
pay
bit.
the people to say good
Yep.
things about you? Nice.
Yep. That's the only thing they brought back, though. They didn't bring back any of the other stuff, which I thought was a bit of a shame. One thing that I really don't like is bringing up the notoriety system. Obviously, in Assassin's Creed, you've got 2 options when you're detected. You can do combat or you can run away, and it's a shame that both of these systems are fucking awful. They're not good. The combat, it kind of brings it back to Assassin's Creed 2, where, when you used to hold L1 and then you just wait for them to hit you
Just
and
hold
you'd L1
L1
them.
and push square, yeah.
Same kind of system. Instead, though, they've given what every game has nowadays, a parry mechanic. So now you press L1 to parry the move, and if you stagger them enough, then you can just one hit kill them, which I like. It's a good system, but they have 6 million heavies, and these heavy guys, some of them don't have a counterable move, and you can't. The only way you can hit them is from the back. So you end up doing this thing where you just dodge a move, hit them once, wait. Dodge a move, hit them once, wait, and it's so boring. And I'm like, why? And I'm sure there's probably an upgrade on the upgrade tree to deal with this, but I'm like, it should just feel good from the get-go. It's just not a brilliant system. Running away is fucking awful. It is the worst I've played in Assassin's Creed most of the time. Old Assassin's Creed, used to love this. You run around a corner, they fucking lost you already. You just go and hide. You're fine. You've got the job done. You run about 100 meters, don't you, Hunter? And they're like, we've lost him, boys. Who knows where he's gone? He's gone. We've lost him. In Assassin's Creed 2, they stepped up a notch. You can't just hide in the nearest hay bale and they'll go, where the fuck you go? And then walk away. In Assassin's Creed 2, they'll stab the hay bale if you're in there. Fun stuff like that. This game, it's like each enemy has a radius, like a mile radius that they can go to, and they will not fucking lose you unless you go out of that radius, and then you're just free. And it's so dumb. Because it's like I didn't realize this. I was doing like twists and turns through rooftops trying to lose them, and I wasn't losing them. Like, what is up with this?
So is it like a weird rubber banding kind of thing?
Yeah, basically. They just know where you are unless you're far enough away for them to give up. And it just feels really sloppy and not well done. It's not great. I was very much willing to forgive a lot of this game's flaws until there was one final thing that tipped me over the edge on, okay, I think this game needed a bit more work. And that is, it had me up until this point. It happened 13 hours into the game, Hunter. 13th Assassin's Creed game, 13 hours in. Unlucky for some, trailing mission.
Oh, no.
And not only that, it was
mission?
quite possibly the worst trailing mission I have ever played in an Assassin's Creed game, and that's saying something, because my God, there's a load to choose from. Whereas this one, not only do you have to keep your camera on the person at all times. Most of the time when you're doing these, Kyle, you just have to stay in a vicinity, and the game knows that you know where they are because you're in vicinity of him. This game,
Yeah.
if he's right next to you, but you just turn the camera to the left so he's not in frame, Basim's like, I've lost him. I don't know where he's gone. Where could he have
Suddenly
possibly
the
gone?
target's just like,
Yeah. And not only that, Hunter,
Donde está?
not only that, Hunter, but if you don't look at him within 5 seconds, so you look away for 2 seconds and you do lose him, not only do they hide the icon to where he is, mission failed, go sit on a bench, restart it. You have to walk to a
what you
bench and go
did.
24 hours in the future to redo it again. And I'm not joking. This one trailing mission, and you can say skill issue, you can say bad, shut the fuck up, I know it's true, but still, 26 minutes. I timed it. 26 minutes for a fucking trailing mission. And it was it's just one of those situations where you just have one moment in a game and you just see all of its kind of kinks
just
and everything that's wrong with it
in the world.
The AI being dog shit, see it instantly. The way the camera works and how it wasn't detecting things instantly. The way it wanted me to climb up over a wall and do all this without being detected, and for some reason the AI just knew where I was instantly and just locked onto me and failed the mission even though they didn't see me. It was like this one mission brought out so many issues where I was like, this game isn't great. It's fine. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm having an alright time with it, but I don't know how much of it is me actually being entertained or me going, this somewhat represents a game I liked in my childhood, but not really. It's kind of not all there, and I wish it was, and it just very much feels like, and this is, I want to make this clear. I don't think this has got anything on who developed this, because I know it's a new studio that made this game from Ubisoft. It's a newer studio. I think it's Ubisoft Bordeaux or something that hasn't made.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That hasn't made an Assassin's Creed before, and this was obviously a DLC that got bigger and all that jazz. But to me, it's just one of those things where if you're making it a full-on entry, even though we're talking about Assassin's Creed, there's a level that I'm kind of expecting. And yeah, I get pissed off when Valhalla and Origins and Odyssey don't meet that expectation for me. But most of the time, those games aren't hitting that expectation for me because I don't vibe with the gameplay that they're providing. I don't vibe with that genre. I really don't like RPG-like video games, and I don't like the way that they handle it. But at the end of the day, I know there are people that will enjoy that and will like what that's offering. And I feel like if I say that I like this game and I recommend this game, I'm just saying that because I like old Assassin's Creed and I recommend old Assassin's Creed. There's not a single thing that this game does that I'm sitting there going, you know what? That's a reason why I would want to play this again over playing another one again. Like, the stuff here where I'm like, that's cool. There is definitely stuff here that is better than anything that old Assassin's Creed has done. Like I say, I feel like the tools that they did in this game and the upgrade paths, much better. I think the skill, the tier, like the way that skills work and levels work, a lot better. All this stuff, I'm like, there's a lot of good stuff here. But it's just, there's something about the whole experience that just isn't clicking. And not in a kind of, I don't get it kind of way. It's a, I don't know what you're trying here. It feels like you're trying to please everybody and at the same time not pleasing anyone. Or if you are pleasing someone, you're pleasing someone who's a really hardcore Assassin's Creed fan that was gonna like it regardless. And it's like, I remember seeing the Open Critic score before the game came out, and I'm like, 77? That seems like pretty harsh, even for an Assassin's Creed game. I'm like, that's pretty harsh. But I 100% see it. I 100% can see it like that. In fact, for me, it might even be a bit lower. It's just one of those things. I'm just not clicking with it. I feel like the story is fucking abysmal and the gameplay is fine, but there's nothing to carry you through it. I think it's just, it's relying too much on that nostalgia. I feel like when Resident Evil remakes do really well is they take that nostalgia and they run with it and they go, here's a load of new stuff, and it's still invoking the same things that you experienced when you were younger or you experienced in the original. but we're cranking that notch up to 11, and we're doing something different, and we're going, if we made one of these in the year 2023, what would that look like? Here's Resident Evil 4 Remake. Whereas this is like, what if we made Assassin's Creed 1 again? No, not in 2023. Just what if we make it
with
again?
the visuals of 2023 and nothing
in the
else.
Valhalla engine? What if we try and modify the Valhalla engine into Assassin's Creed 1? And I'm like...
It's like, it sounds like, as opposed to getting a Resident Evil remake, you got the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remake.
Oh. Ooh.
Again, I don't think it's that far. I feel like the harsh thing is, right, is it's like on our scale of 1 through 5, it's kind of hard because it's like if we were talking on like an IGN scale or whatsoever, like that kind of scale, I'd sit it right on a 7. It is that average game, right? On ours, it's between a 3 and a 4, and it's like right now I haven't finished it. It's leaning more towards a 3 out of 5. That's a hesitant if you've not watched one of our reviews before. Just because here's the thing, like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl feel like games that had no passion put into them, whereas this game does feel like the team had a passion. They had a passion for
I wasn't
Baghdad.
trying to like straight slander the game, the Assassin's Creed game entirely.
I know you weren't, but it's like I feel like that's an unfair comparison because it's like Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl look like ass, feel like ass, and all the works, whereas this game feels all right. It looks gorgeous, the world's great, but the gameplay types and the story missions and all that jazz just aren't clicking with me to the point where it's just like it feels it just feels kind of sloppy, and it's like it's fine. I think there's, like I say, the going back to stealth, brilliant idea. When this game's playing stealth, that's my favorite time. Like honestly, I'm having so much fun with the stealth in this game. It's just a shame that there's more to it, and there's a lot of stuff that feels sloppy.
So,
it feels more like Assassin's Creed than the past few Assassin's Creeds, but it still doesn't feel like a great Assassin's Creed. It doesn't go... I'm not sitting here and going, this feels like Syndicate, or this feels like a Black Flag, or this feels like an Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood or Revelations or any of the good ones, right? It doesn't feel like that. It just
do you
doesn't.
think there's enough there that if they were to make another one, like with a full... Because like this one started off as DLC and whatnot, so if they were to go into trying another one like this with the notion that it's going to be its own game in mind, and obviously refining some of the stuff, do you think there's enough there that it would work out?
Yeah, I feel like there's still potential for this. I genuinely do, but I feel like the potential is there because of what other games in the stealth genre have done recently. And I feel like it just needs some more crafting to it. Like this game genuinely does feel like a game. I said in my Starfield review that this game feels like Starfield often at times feels like a game dragged out of 2015. In the original review, I cut the words down. Originally, it said dragged kicking and screaming out of 2015. But, this game feels like it was dragged kicking and screaming out of 2008. Like, it genuinely does feel like... It does feel like a different beast. And I feel like I wish they had tried more on the stealth, because it's baby's first stealth game, and Assassin's Creed's always been baby's first stealth game, but it still is. This game was a game made for fans of the original Assassin's Creed games, but it did nothing to kind of go beyond and make something that would be interesting. Like, I'm going around going, these stealth sections are cool, but I'm still solving these puzzles the exact same way that I would normally, and there's no real kind of difficulty to it. Blow dart someone here, throwing knives there, do this kind of stuff. Whereas I want that kind of... I want Assassin's Creed to take more of that Hitman approach of, okay, your target's in this palace, there's like 5 different ways to do this. How are you going to go about it? And it does that half step, but really what it's saying is there's 2 ways to do it. You can either steal the key from the guy on the roof, or you can go the other way and barge your way through. Which one do you want to do? And I'm like, that's cool. I wish this was more... developed, and I wish it was more kind of intricate.
What if I was allowed to disguise myself as a guard? That'd be cool.
Stuff like that. Like genuinely, there are 2 disguises in this game,
There'd be
but
the
they're
humble flower
mission specific.
salesman or something.
because they do
A
have
cabbage
costumes.
merchant.
And
They
then
do
throw
have
sand
costumes,
in
but
his
again,
eyes and stab him.
they are mission specific. Again, there's 2
Fucking
costumes, and they're
sand.
mission specific, and once they're done, they're done. And it's like,
Aw.
that's cool. But Assassin's Creed 2 did that, and we were like, that's cool, because it was the first time we wore disguises in Assassin's Creed, and that was in Assassin's Creed 2, when you've got, like, the mask over you for
Yeah.
Festival and stuff like that. It's like, that's cool. I like that. I just kind of... I wish there was more to this game. I really do. It feels like it's a game from 2010. Like, it genuinely does feel like an old Assassin's Creed. If you love the old Assassin's Creeds and think there's no faults with them whatsoever, and you're fine with a story that is worse than all of the old Assassin's Creeds, knock yourself out. Go and have a time. I'm having enough fun where I'm like, this is fine. But also, if you're looking for that next step, if you're looking for a story that's like on the level of Assassin's Creed 2, or on the level of Assassin's Creed 4, or something, even Syndicate, I'm not getting it. There's no fun characters. Like, Basim he's just, hey, I'm likable protagonist, man. Look at me. Like, I grew up as an orphan on the streets, and now I'm here trying to be a better person.
More like
And,
Nasim.
Yeah. And it just is... It's fine. I think that if you are a fan of old Assassin's Creed, you will like this game. If you are new to Assassin's Creed, there are 6 million other Assassin's Creeds that I think you should probably play first, because this doesn't do anything to innovate on that formula enough to warrant playing this one first. And if you're a fan of the newer style Valhalla games,
you probably haven't played all of what each of them have anyway, so go finish them.
You should go get your head checked, but also I don't think there's anything here for you that you would like other than Basim being in this game. But I don't think they do. Again, the story's that worthless that I don't think you're getting anything out of it. It literally just is, there are 5 bad guys in this area, and you do the Assassin's Creed 1 thing of going to each area, sorting the bad guy out. It's like, good job, you stopped the bad guy in this area, move on to the next one. And it's like,
gold star.
5
assassin's points for you.
It's fine.
Call them credits.
It's fine. And I feel like, here's the problem, right, is I always feel when I'm doing these first impressions and I've not coherently written down all my thoughts on a page.
Yeah, you've been going for 40 minutes.
Yeah, of nearly 50. I
know.
I always
we have 3 other topics.
And we've got time. We've got another 2 hours, dude. We got time. Let's make it a 3.
Let's make it a 3. Yeah,
I feel
that's the spirit.
I feel like I will have come off extremely negative when there's still stuff to like. And I do want to end by saying there is stuff to like, and I think it's fine. It's a fine video game. I was just expecting more.
I'm glad that you're walking away from Assassin's Creed the same way I walked away from Final Fantasy 16.
The difference is, though, is Final Fantasy 16 is a much better video game.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But right now, I would honestly, I'd stick it between a 6 and a 7. I think that if you don't care about story in video games, you'll like it more than I will. I think if you care a lot about story, don't fucking bother, dude. Like October's a busy month. It's a very busy month. You've probably got games to play. Like Hunter said, Lies of P is out. If you're feeling like you want something with swords and wacky times, go play Lies of P. I think like I feel like if we have an October roster of video games so far,
an October tier list.
Yeah, an October tier list. Lies of P is at the top. Then
that'd be
Assassin's
a good
Creed
episode
Mirage so far.
For like a dead week. Is rank the games upcoming into order of priority.
That could be really funny.
Yeah.
File that one away.
Yeah.
File it away. But yeah. It's fine. I just wish it was more. I wish I'd love it as much as I love the old Assassin's Creeds. And I think the main reason I don't is there's no emotional attachment. I feel like we all joke about Assassin's Creed. We mock Assassin's Creed. But I feel like people forget that the reason that Assassin's Creed is as big as it is today is because people did like Assassin's Creed or still do like Assassin's Creed.
Once upon a
and
time,
I think one of the reasons for liking Assassin's Creed, whether you don't give a shit or you love the future story, is that the stories in the past were always good. Like the stories in 2 and Brotherhood
They were always
and Revelation.
they were always at
and
least
4.
good enough with a good protagonist, you know.
And like I'd say they have a good overarching narrative. The beat to beat is never really truly fantastic because there's a lot of filler, but I feel like the motivations for Ezio or
Yeah.
the kind of the conflict for Connor with him and his dad, or Edward just having this, I think, the best
pirate's life
story
for
in
him.
Assassin's. I think it's the best story in Assassin's Creed is Assassin's Creed 4, or Syndicate with Evie and Jacob and that kind of dynamic. There's nothing there. It's just he has a best friend. She kind of sucks. There's the mentor for the assassins. She's kind of
Oh
cool,
shoot,
but
it's
she's
Life is
nothing on.
Strange.
She's nothing on anything else. She's no Achilles or something from Assassin's Creed 3, who's my favorite part of Assassin's Creed 3. Like there's nothing attaching me to this world other than, hey, it's really pretty. You did a really good job of doing it. Like you did a really good job of the world. It's a shame all the characters in it suck. Like genuinely. But oh well. Find out if this wasn't enough for you. There'll be a condensed version on Thursday.
Woo!
Oh god, I pray for whoever reads that. It'll be the ramblings of a madman who played an entire Assassin's Creed in the span of 3
please make
days.
it shorter than the Crash 4 review.
It will be. I can't.
Thank you.
The story will just be so Basim's this guy who has to stab a few folks. Yeah.
The end.
The end.
Ethan's
say
story segment for Assassin's Creed is going to be as long as my story segment for AK Zolotl.
Yeah, basically. And a final thing, they committed the cardinal sin of you having to confirm the assassination, so you can't shoot them from far away. You have to go in and stab them. Again, stupid game design. Let me Hitman it. Let me 360 no scope tomahawk throwing knife that fucker across the map, dude. Let me do it. It's funny. Thank you. Stupid game. Anyway, it's fine. Check it out. I'm hesitant on it so far. Will it change? Find out Thursday. Speaking of being hesitant on things, anyway, next topic is it time to put down the Naughty Dog? Oh,
Good God.
This episode's gonna be fucking dire, dude. Like this is going in the pit. We're gonna if we don't anger somebody this week, I'll be surprised. There's a bit of news that came out about Naughty Dog this week, Hunter. Do you want to go through it real quick, lay it down for us? What happened this week with Naughty Dog?
So there were a couple of things. Earlier in the week, I believe, was when they divulged that, oh hey, some of the QA people are being laid off. And also, I think it was either this week or the end of last week where they confirmed that, oh boy, Factions is being put on ice, as it's been phrased.
It's fucking dead, George. Kill it.
Yeah. So that's not cool. Especially what was not cool about the layoff situation was that these people were being like pressured not to talk about it.
Oh, that was my favorite part. It was
Yeah.
like, don't worry, guys, we're only getting rid of the temporary people that aren't in the studio. Hush, hush. Nobody say. They're also not getting any severance. Don't fucking mention it. Don't tell Jason. It's not allowed.
Yeah. Oh,
It was
God.
stupid.
So that's silly. And then to put a nice little bow on Naughty Dog for the week, they hit us with the, oh boy, get ready for us. Sorry, I almost said Assassin's Creed again.
Another one?
Which
That's
which
okay.
is
I thought Last of
Us 2 remastered is allegedly coming.
I can't play it again. I can't.
Then don't.
I won't. I haven't played the first one again.
No
And the
reason.
I will play. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I will play Last of Us Part 1, the remake, when it is free on Extra. That's when I'll play it. And even then it'll be when it's quiet, when there's no other releases around. Because it's just like, I really hate, and it sucks, man. Everyone used to whinge and moan about Uncharted. And everyone used to be like, oh, they're doing another Uncharted 4. We're doing more Uncharted Lost Legacy.
At least they were doing more of them.
Yeah, at least Uncharted was getting new games, and we weren't just getting Uncharted 1 and 2 over and over again.
Where it's like, yeah, Last of Us Remastered, Last of Us Part 2, The Last of Us Part 1, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. It's like, oh, fuck. Like, I like The Last of Us. I like it, or it's all right. It's a good video game. I appreciate The Last of Us. I like it quite a bit. I like The Last of Us Part 2. I think it's a very good game. These aren't replayable games to me. They're not. I don't have a willingness to. And if I did have a will, it was lost when I then watched Pedro Pascal perform it to me again. I don't need it again. I saw the other side of it and I was like, you know what? There's parts of the show that are better than the game. There just are, and there's parts of the game that are better than the show. I've seen another side of it. That's cool. Don't need to play it again. I really don't. And it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like The Last of Us. We always knew The Last of Us was popular, but it's as if Sony is like doing like a Nintendo where it's like popular, do it again, Splatoon 2, Splatoon 3, t-shirts, fucking events, concerts, like just do everything. And I'm like, fuck, like, we don't need all this, right? It's like, I like when they for example, they did at Halloween Horror Nights, they did The Last of Us, and I have a Last of Us t-shirt and stuff like that. I went around, I saw some of the stuff. I didn't go in the actual house because I'm a fucking pussy, but I did see all the stuff and I saw some clickers and stuff like that. I'm like, that's cool. But again, it's just like, I don't know if it's because we have had the HBO show this year and we've also had The Last of Us Factions being quote unquote around the corner for the past 2.5 years, or it's the fact that, you know, there's been rumors that they're doing part 3, but it's just like, in the same way that I'm like, yo, you know, Gorilla, it's cool that you like Horizon and you're making Horizon. I don't think we need Horizon every year. I feel like, in the same vein, we don't need Last of Us every year. It feels like what we mocked Xbox for doing the past generation, which was, we have Forza, we have Halo, we have Gears, and that's fucking it. I feel like Sony is like, as Xbox has tried to diversify their portfolio, Sony's like, bring it in, guys. We have God of War, we have Horizon, we have Last of Us. Fuck off. Like, that's it.
The dumb thing about that too is like Sony is proven as short away as the previous console generation that they can make another thing that people like. Horizon is only from the PS4 generation.
Last of Us was at the end of PS3 as well. It's like, it just makes me laugh because it's like, we all clown on Nintendo for never making a new IP once every fucking decade, right? Where like they made Splatoon and everyone's like, look, Nintendo, look what happens when you try something new. And they were like, bet, we're gonna make another 2 of them and not do something new again. Fuck you. And it feels like Sony's just doing the same, and it just kind of sucks. I'm like, everyone's hoping for a new IP from Naughty Dog, and I'm in a similar way. But I'm also like, are they just going to do another third-person story shooter? Like, is that what they're...
Probably.
Like...
Feels like that's what they're there to do. That was a hard sentence.
Yeah, but it was. But it also feels, though, like... I feel like the reason that The Last of Us and Uncharted worked, and they worked from the same studio, is because, to me, it always felt like they were kind of like the antithesis of each other, where it's like Uncharted's this big bombastic action movie with quips and you know, stupid things that happen, it all being over the top and all of it being not realistic in the slightest, and all being Nathan Drake just absolutely murdering hundreds of people, and you just being like, he's a cool guy, we love Nate, he's great. And then on the other side you've got The Last of Us, which is like the exact opposite of that, where it's like, the world's fucked, everybody's fucked, everybody you care about is going to die, and you're going to watch it.
By the time you get to the end of one of these, you're going to feel very questionably about your main character.
Yeah, 100%. You're just going to do that. And it's like, so if they do another third-person over-the-shoulder shooter, where's that going to fall in? Like, it's just going to end up feeling like, well, it's no Last of Us and it's no Uncharted, because it's just kind of in the middle, and it's like... Because like everybody
Naughty
else,
Dog's gonna make Days Gone 2.
Oh, thank God! I'm so glad someone is, dude. Maybe those people on Twitter will shut up then if that happens.
I was just thinking, what was that Justin Roiland game that came out at the end of last year?
High on Life.
Yeah, that. What did they make that?
I'm good.
As their intermediate game.
Dude, I'll never understand people that thought that was a good game. Like, I never will. Like, it was not good. It was not. It was really bad. And that's not even me saying that after the fact of all the Justin Roiland stuff that came out. You can go back and
No,
watch
no,
the
it was
podcast.
from
I thought it was
the
bad.
Yeah.
the one trailer I saw where the gun was talking to me made me want to deposit myself out the window.
Yeah, well, yeah, dude. But yeah, it goes back. We were talking about Sony last week, and I know you heard it, Kyle, but
I did.
it just feels like creativity is kind of dead at Sony at the moment, where it's just
Pretty
like,
much, yeah.
and I know that there's stuff cooking, right? We know that Sony Santa Monica's got this other RPG that Cory Barlog's been working on for, at this point, 6 years since 2018. 5 years.
It's a lot of
5
cooking.
years. So they've been working on that for a long period of time. So that's cool. But everybody else is just like, the Horizon devs are making more Horizon. Sucker Punch is making more Ghost of Tsushima. Naughty Dog's fucking around with Last of Us ports and multiplayers and everything in between that isn't gonna release. And then it's like,
I hope the next Sony president is or PlayStation president or whatever the title is replacing Jim Ryan. I hope he's like, hey, Naughty Dog, screw you, make up a Rappa game.
I
I demand it.
I just miss the kind of quirk. Like I just kind of miss it. And it's like, it feels like Sony's missing it. Because like even Xbox has got stuff like Hi-Fi Rush, or they own Double Fine, who is just like the definition of quirk. And Nintendo obviously is just going to do what the fuck they want. Like literally, like whether you like Pikmin or not, you can't say that that's normal, can you? Like that's they've got.
They turned
stuff.
Mario into an elephant.
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Thing ever.
They turned they went to Lego and were like, we want to make Mario Lego, and instead of making him a minifigure, they made him this fucking botched abomination of Lego bricks. And then when they were like, oh, shall we do the same with Animal Crossing? Nah, make normal Lego for Animal Crossing. Who do you think we are, weirdos? This is like stupid.
The franchise where the blocky characters would probably work better.
Yeah,
than Mario.
Anyway, it feels like you have Insomniac who are allowed to make one Ratchet and Clank game every decade, so that we're stuffed on that one.
And then they make superhero games.
You've got Team Asobi who will make another Astrobot game, which I think we're all certain will be a PS5 game and not a PS5 VR2 game, because who the fuck owns one of them?
I can't wait for that to be an announcement.
That came out this year. That's a nomination for that award.
2 years, we're gonna get an announcement for Astrobot 2 for the PSVR 2, and we'll be like, why did you exhume this corpse that you clearly didn't believe in when you launched it?
Yeah. But I don't know. It's like, I don't get what Naughty Dog's doing right now. I really don't. To get back on topic, I just really don't understand it, because they seem to be, obviously they are kind of like Sony's golden goose in terms of like, oh yeah, they're the favorite child, whether they like it, whether we like it or not. They've always been the favorite child of Sony's first party studios. But it's also, they're so inefficient when compared to every other dev, where it's like, it's kind of funny in the time that it's taken Naughty Dog to release, like, say, even if we look now, between part 2 and whatever the fuck is next, Insomniac have released Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, will release Spider-Man 2, and at this rate will also release Wolverine in the same time span of all of those at this rate. Same for Guerrilla.
Compare other big games just elsewhere. Like, we've had 2 Zelda games in the time that it's been since 1 Last of Us. Yeah.
And unlike other games, I can't remember who it was. I saw on Twitter, someone brought up the argument of like standalone expansion games like Assassin's Creed Mirage, like Uncharted The Lost Legacy, are probably going to become the future, because these 6-year games aren't feasible, these 6-year development times. And I 100% agree. I think they should do that.
Make shorter games that cost less.
Especially when you look at games like that, when, for example, Uncharted The Lost Legacy, I think there's parts of Lost Legacy that are better than Uncharted 4. I think it's a very solid experience.
Some people say Lost Legacy is the best one.
It is in a lot of ways. It's a very good game.
I haven't played that one, but I also wouldn't be shocked.
People also always joke about how it's a short one though, and I'm like, it's the same length as Uncharted 1. It's like it's shorter than 4, but anything could be shorter than 4. Or you hear about, apparently
Miles Morales, I liked more
Miles
than
Morales.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's a good example. Or, there's the rumor that Sony Santa Monica is making a God of War spin, like another one, a cider project with Atreus is the current rumor. Which again also makes sense. But it's like these smaller kind of games make a lot of sense, and I feel like Naughty Dog, they've done it with Lost Legacy. I feel like they need to start doing that, not because like it takes 6 years, it takes however fucking long it's gonna be. 2020, it's already been 3 years. Like, it's gonna be 4 or 5 years until we get another Naughty Dog game, and that's a long development time. But Starfield took 8 years to make. Cyberpunk 2077 took forever to make. But these are huge, big open world games that are fucking massive and take 160 bajillion hours to make, to beat, and all that jazz. And then it's like Naughty Dog games, like Part 2 was like 30 hours because they didn't know when to press fucking stop on that one. But every other one is like 12
every plot
to 15.
segment went on like 30 minutes too long. Yeah,
they had a game and then they were like, let's do it again, and then the second part of the game started, and you're like, oh my god,
it's rewind time.
Yeah, they genuinely. I just don't get it. I really don't.
It's hilarious. I think 3 years removed from that, I would be even more angry if I were to play that game like brand new today, and it did that twist in the middle of Last of Us 2. Not because of where the story was or anything like that, just because of the sheer audacity. I think would annoy me way more 3 years later.
And I mean, that's the thing about Part 2 is I have one friend who has played through it multiple times and is a bit fucking weirdo, where he's like, oh yes, this game's so replayable. I'm like, freak, shun the freak. That's weird. Because everybody else has been like a one and done where they're like, I could never play that game again. Like, or I'd have to begrudgingly like grit my teeth through it again. Like, it'd be really hard to go and do that again. Even me, like I played it once and I was like, oh yeah, I'll do the collectible run and all that on the second playthrough. And it's like, nope, my trophy list is 100, always going to say at 50% for the rest of time because I cannot be bothered to play that game again. I can't. I saw someone on Twitter that was like, oh yeah, but what if they do like a side, like a Left Behind, but showing what Tommy was doing in that one section when he pissed off for a while? And I was like, that's like, I'm like, that's interesting, but also you can't get me to play 30 hours of Last of Us Part 2 again. Like, you can't make me. I don't want it. Like, I can't do it. And I don't think what that game needs is another playable character. I don't think that's what that needs. So yeah, I hope they get back on their feet a bit, but it's really hot. Like, PlayStation's in a really bad space at the moment. And what I mean by that is, obviously, rumor is it is this week that the Activision Blizzard deal goes through, ladies and gentlemen. So mark your calendars. It's apparently this Friday, 13th. Unlucky for some, like Assassin's Creed, but maybe I just realized they were going to release Assassin's Creed 13 on the 13th of October. I was like, that was they shouldn't have been cowards, dude. That game's like 2 hours long. Everyone would have finished by the time Spider-Man was out. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway. But Microsoft is going to be obviously in the headlines all the time, whether you like it or not. And it's like Nintendo is literally about to release a new console next year. So, and what, you're expecting Sony to just rock up with a PS5 Pro and no games and go, hi guys, here we go. I really want to know what the future of PlayStation is, and I really don't want them to walk onto that stage and go, Horizon 3, Ghost of Tsushima 2, Last of Us Part 3. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk. Like, I really don't want that.
Yeah.
And then I don't want them to go, here's Ben's new IP, and if they don't get higher than an 85, we're fucking them in again. Like, that's what I don't want.
This the thing is, like, I'm so trepidatious about whatever Ben's next announcement is, because I'll be like, I feel like whatever this is semi under duress.
Yeah. It's like everyone can make what they want unless they're Bend. Fuck you, Bend. Like, Bend is the middle child of the PlayStation family, where it's just like, yeah, get in the bin. Fuck you, Bend. But there's still hope, We've got Blue Point. They're making something new. Rumor is, well, everyone's like, you're either making something new or you're making Bloodborne 2, baby. What is it?
Yeah,
it's
like
something
either
new.
one would be welcome.
Yeah. And, There's some fun stuff still happening, but it feels like doom and gloom on the PS5 side at the moment.
Another year of being carried by the third party.
God. Metal Gear's coming. The collection's out this month as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Is that this month? I thought it was November.
No, it's the end of October.
No.
Oh, yeah, same difference.
End of October with everything else.
And chuck it in the pile.
Put it right
You know, I
next
was
to Dave
thinking.
the Diver.
I was actually thinking about this. I was been saying for a while that my birthday plan was to ask for Persona 5 Tactica and Mario RPG.
Of course.
I'm now thinking of changing that plan to put Mario RPG at Christmas. This is the big brain strat, guys, because I'm thinking Metal Gear for birthday. No, because here's the thing, Kyle. Is no offense,
Hunter and I have two different views on this.
I am way more likely to play Metal Gear than I am Mario RPG. I'll still get both, but I'm still way more tempted by Metal Gear. And I'm also, which one am I least likely to buy myself? I'm more likely to buy a Mario RPG by myself because it's cheaper and it's not a port of the games from the PS1 and 2. Like that's my reasoning. God, there's too many games this month, dude. There's too many.
So many. It's out of control.
Alan Wake 2 as well. God.
Alan Wake 2.
Too much stuff. Anyway, we're not here to talk about new games.
It's like all these people being all doom and gloom about Spider-Man's runtime. And I'm like, I will be able to beat it before Alan Wake comes out.
What, Spider-Man being the same length Spider-Man 1? Like 20 to 30
I know,
hours?
right? They're stupid.
People are stupid. Then you get all the geniuses in the comments that are like, oh, well, the game should be cheaper if it's shorter. Like, we're not having this argument right now. Fuck off.
I just want people, because people are saying that it's the same length as Spider-Man 1. That's the thing, is everyone's saying it's about the same length as Spider-Man 1. It, like, if not slightly longer. And it's like, bitch, it took me 50 hours to platinum Spider-Man 1. There was enough content there. It was like, actually, it was probably close to 40, but it's like a good 40 hours of game there. And also, I've replayed Marvel's Spider-Man and Miles Morales both combined about 5 times each. I will get my replay value out of Spider-Man. Don't you fucking start me with that one. Like, stupid people.
And like, these people complaining. Like I have said every time when talking about Miles Morales since it came out, I liked that one more and it was shorter. So...
It's, I don't know. I've not been seeing anything because Spider-Man is muted on my Twitter because of leaks, and I think leaks are going out. So I'm like, Ethan don't want to know anything about that game. I still feel like I know too much about that game. I'm like, no. Like, I hate that they showed off in that trailer about the side missions. I hate that they showed that Mysterio's in it. I'm like, don't want to know that. Don't want to know it.
I didn't know that.
He's in it, and I'm like, fuck that.
I didn't even know that.
Get in the bin. Because they're like, here's some familiar faces and people that you haven't seen yet. And I'm like, how about you just show the familiar faces and not the people I haven't seen?
Yeah, just show the familiar faces that I won't recognize. You think you really...
I was like, oh, you know what?
Anyway.
I wasn't going to buy this game, but Mysterio, now I'll buy it. Like,
now Fishbowl's in the game? Hell yeah. I'm
trying to convince the 3 Jake Gyllenhaal fans that, hey, look, it's that character that he played, but he's in our universe and not played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Please buy it. Like, goddamn, everyone's buying this game, so you don't need to fucking... You don't need to. That game's like 2 weeks away. That's crazy. Not even a week and a half. It's
wild.
I can't wait, dude. I genuinely... My most anticipated game of this year. It might be because Starfield and Zelda have already released, but, it's still my most anticipated game of the year now. It's going to be great. Anyway, no new games. Carl, you've been playing old games, you weirdo. Final Fantasy VII, not the remake, not pre-ordering Reload to get your copy of 7 Remake plus Integrate for PS5, you weirdo.
No, I did pre-order Rebirth.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Digitally or physical?
Physical.
Oh, damn. Oh, yeah, you're getting that steelbook from, what was it? There's a steelbook at Best Buy or something. I don't remember.
Good question. I did pre-order from Best Buy. I don't know if I'm getting a steelbook, though.
I got a steelbook for Assassin's Creed. It wasn't even a pre-order bonus.
You didn't even have the game in it.
Yeah, it was one of those great steelbooks where it came alongside the game. So you got a plastic case and the steelbook. Love that, thumbs up. But also, I remember seeing that it became a pre-order bonus after I pre-ordered, and I was like, I'm not going to cancel my pre-order and redo it to get the Steelbook, because I don't like Steelbooks. And then I got it anyway, and I'm like, well, fine, thank you, Game Collection. I appreciate you for doing that. You shouldn't have, because I don't like Steelbooks, but oh well, it can go sit with the Bowser's furry Steelbook.
I just checked my pre-order. I am getting a Steelbook with this.
Oh, hell
Dude, there's
yeah,
something
congrats,
about
pal.
Switch games and coming in Steelbooks that just weirds me out. Like those cases shouldn't. It's weird.
It's bad juju, dude. It's bad juju.
It's like pouring the milk first in your cereal bowl.
Oh.
Yeah, you just don't want that. Oh, fucking weird that is. I don't like Steelbooks in general, but Switch Steelbooks, fucking weird ass things they are, dude. Not a fan.
Like
The only
little freaks of
Steelbook-
nature.
Yeah.
The only Steelbook I have is for Persona 5 Royal.
See, I don't have that one for Switch. I didn't get
Really?
it. No. I
Oh,
just
for
have a
Switch? I have it
Oh,
on
for-
PS5.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I got it on PS5
Wait, you got
too
the
because it was
PS5?
still.
Yeah.
I got it like
What the fuck
physically.
do you think I am?
or
I'm not buying the
PS5.
Switch version of Persona 5.
I got it for the PlayStation 4. I misspoke, but
Ah.
it was still the Steelbook that I
No,
picked
No, I have
up.
the
Like
I have the Steelbooks for PS4
Oh,
and
no, it's
PS5.
PS4, sorry.
I picked
have
it
the
up like
regular
4
versions
months
for-
late, still from a store, and it was the Steelbook version. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought the
PS4,
same. I was like,
sorry, it lives on
was
my
like,
PS4, PS5 shelf. Got it mixed
Hunter,
up.
this is how fucking stupid I am. We're way off topic. We will talk about Final Fantasy 7 in a second. But the Steelbooks that for the next gen Persona ports, the PS5, Switch, and Xbox Series or whatever, they only came as Steelbooks. It wasn't separate.
Oh.
And I was like, I refuse to have one Switch Steelbook, so I just bought the regular version, and then the Steelbook sold out, and it's like the more rare version. I'm like, oh fucking hell, this is what I get for being anal about not wanting Steelbooks,
I should have bought it so I could sell it later.
which I never will. Which is why
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like me buying all 3 copies of Persona 3 portables, if that's gonna make me feel better when I know I'm not gonna sell any of them because I'm stupid. Just want them.
Or every
Anyway.
copy of a Pokemon generation.
I do that. That's for fun though. They're 2 different games, Kyle. They're 2 different
Obviously.
games. Anyway, you've been
Gotta
playing
find stuff for fun
the
somewhere. It
OG
won't be
Final
the
Fantasy
game.
7. Hunter, we're
OG.
moving on. I can't keep pushing it.
Yeah, the
How you
floating head
finding
wants to move on, Hunter.
Yeah. How are you finding OG Final Fantasy 7, Kyle? Obviously, I've never played it, so I don't know what you're gonna say.
Correct. Yeah, so a couple of weeks back when I had placed my pre-order for Rebirth, I started talking with a friend on Twitter who had also pre-ordered his copy, and he was like, "Yeah, did you ever play Remake or the OG one?" And I'm like, I played Remake, have not played OG, but it's on my list." And he's like, "Hey, you should play it before Rebirth comes out." And I guess that was finally the push for me to play
Well,
OG FF7.
this was Dill, wasn't it? Was it Dill on
It-
Twitter? That
I
said
mean,
that?
I was trying not to use his name, but yes.
I don't mind. I like Dill. He's fine. He's fine. That sounds like him. I don't like him. No, I do like Dill. He's a nice guy. Yeah, I saw him doing. He was saying that, and I'm like, Kyle, you coward, you absolute coward. You were supposed to join me on the wild ride of Nomura's playing Final Fantasy VII the way it wasn't meant to be played, and just
I
cruising
mean, I
through the
basically
remake.
already know the story of Final Fantasy VII.
Which I don't, to be fair, which
So-
is great. I know the spoiler, but I know nothing
Yeah.
else.
Almost
Which I
everybody
think's
knows
great.
The
I-
spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I have friends that don't even know the spoiler, which is great. So
What rock are they living under? And
The
can I
rock.
join them?
I feel like it's I don't think people really understand it as much, especially in America, but it's like I don't think Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy, at least with my age group, wasn't as big a deal, Final Fantasy in Europe. Like
Well,
I didn't know
I think 7 was the
anyone-
first one that Europe got.
Like, I don't know anybody from my childhood who actually, like, actively played Final Fantasy. Like, I don't know anybody that did. I know people that played Dragon Quest because they played, like, Dragon Quest 9 on the DS and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I never knew anybody that played a Final
I've never
Fantasy
heard of an
game
instance
until
of somebody playing Dragon Quest before Final Fantasy where they didn't come from Japan.
Yeah, it's very... I don't know what. Yeah, but that's because they were nerds, and they were nerds that played Dragon Quest. They were proper nerds. I can say that. I'm like one of them. I'm still friends with, and I'm like every time I'm like, that was like the nerdiest shit ever. Because we like went on a school trip where we stayed away for a week, and they sat in their fucking room playing Dragon Quest at night. And like,
Respect.
like nowadays, I'm like, hell yeah, that's
I'd have
actually
done the
pretty.
same.
That's pretty sick. But back then, you were like, you fucking nerd. In a friendly way, not in a bully way, in a friendly way.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So Final Fantasy to me has always been like I didn't know anyone that played Kingdom Hearts either. In fact, I knew one person that played Kingdom Hearts, but no one that played Final Fantasy. So to me, it's always
Europe
is
is
weird because it's like in America it was huge. I feel like it was way bigger in America than it was here.
Yeah, but again, you
So,
guys
yeah.
Europe didn't get a Final Fantasy game until 7 on the
Yeah.
PS1.
100%. Anyway,
Over in the States, we at least got Final Fantasy 1, 4, and 6.
True. They were numbered wrong, but you got them nonetheless.
Correct. They were numbered 1, 2, and 3.
So anyway, Dill pushed you over the edge. You're finally playing it.
Correct.
How are you feeling?
I'll say this. I do really love this game. And man, it just feels good to play a video game that just works. Where you don't have to like, Hunter, I see the face you're making. But it like a game that you can just turn on and play and it just functions. And you don't need to worry about like, am I building my character right? Or will the game be unplayable if I'm building my character like this? Or how many external websites do I need to have open to get me through this one part of the video game? Dark Souls. I'm talking about Dark Souls.
People are afflicted by such weird I don't know what the term is, overthinking by modern video games that I just don't participate in. It's just funny to me is all, because it's like,
I feel like I had
am I
that
doing it
gripe though
optimally? I don't know.
When I
I'm
first
just
played
gonna
Dark
do it,
Souls,
though.
when I first played Bloodborne, right, I did have that issue though, where it's like you have that gripe where the game like has like 4 different paths to go, and I'm just like, the game just expects you to just pick a path and unga bunga down it and see what's fine.
Yeah,
but
that's what I did.
But I'm like, but what's me in my stupid head when I first played Bloodborne and I stopped after an hour, I was like, yes, but what's the right way to go? And I'd get angry if I picked it wrong. Whereas the game just expects you to just play the game and go unga bunga. Whereas everybody else is just like, actually, like it's just like it's stupid. Just go with the game. Let the game take you for the ride, dude.
Like this is aside, but when I played Bloodborne, I just used the saw cleaver and dumped everything into attack and health and a little bit into agility, so I had stamina, and it was a great time. I turned my brain off. It was so fun.
I tried doing that with Liza P. It wasn't as fun, dude. It wasn't fun. Not as fun as Liza P. The first weapon was kind of dog shit.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I'm doing the same thing in Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, I'll just load the material onto the characters. Cloud, you're gonna play like this. Tifa, you're gonna play like this. Red, I'm gonna give you all the enemy skill magic.
I always gave him that one too, because
it just feels right.
It just feels like something he would do.
Yeah, it just feels correct.
And I always like that you play characters. I always love, you can always tell it's a good RPG when you're playing characters, because in your head you're like, this is the way that they should play. Not like, it's like in Persona or something where you're like, okay, this person's definitely a healer. You're definitely doing that shit. You're doing that shit. The worst thing I hate is when you're just kind of like I'm always like that with Pokemon, to be honest, where it's like you're supposed to stat build, but to me, because it's like a Pokemon's a Pokemon or whatever, I'm just like, learn a new move, replace something. Like, I'm just kind of rolling with the dice. Whereas, like, in a good RPG, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, dude. This person's a tank. Give him the tanky shit.
Oh, yeah. Like, and if I was using Yuffie on my main team, I would keep her with the steel materia, the steel and throw materia. It's like, that's the shit that feels right. She's a thief. But
100%.
no, I think I'm like halfway into disc 2 at this point. I just finished up Gaia's Cliff, which was a shite dungeon, and I hated every part of it. But
no spoilers, please.
It's a shite dungeon, and I hated every part of it.
Spoilers.
There's a shitty snowboarding section before it.
That sounds like it's gonna be epic in the remake, dude. I love a big. That
Oh,
sounds.
there's no way it
That
could
sounds like a
possibly
mini
be worse.
game.
I remember
Yeah, there's no
back,
way it could be worse.
I
It
remember
controls like
back when I
dog shit.
finished 7 remake, I had the little itch to be like, okay, there's a PSP around here with a save file that's right after the first disc, and I found that PSP, and then I got that the snowboarding mini game and the subsequent blind blizzard dungeon thing that they
God,
make
it
you
was
do.
awful.
After that is not good, and I put it down.
Yeah, Hunter, I want you to hear me out here, right? I'm gonna go through a hypothesis for you here, right? Okay.
What if
So it's
Sephiroth
Final Fantasy VII,
slides
whichever
in on a
one.
snowboard?
It's Final Fantasy whatever, Rebirth whatever, whichever, or the third one, whichever one it is.
Yeah,
You start your
recycle.
skateboarding, start a skateboarding, the snowboarding mini game. You're thinking, oh damn, oh this is sick, how cool. Then you wait for it. Then what do you hear? You just hear some laughter off in the distance. And as he swoops in on his motorbike, Roche is back from
yes.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's a boss fight while you're snowboarding down the hill.
That'd be so good. I would
And he
love
is
it.
still
if
on a
they did
motorbike.
that.
He is not on a snowboard.
not
He
on
is
the
still on his
snowmobile.
motorbike.
I hope that guy comes to like duel you while you're on the Segway.
Oh my
I
God.
genuinely hope I genuinely hope he's in every game. Like just one
Me
boss
too.
fight of him on the motorbike on all 3 of them. I hope he's the link. He's the link between all 3 games. I hope the entire story changes
and
just so
Johnny.
he's there. Yeah.
Him and Johnny.
Gets that famous scene and is about Sephiroth's about to stab. He just fucking Roche comes in on his motorbike and hits Sephiroth. That's it, dude. He's
Just
the
does a
final boss.
wheelie
now.
on his
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. Dude, epic.
I'm the villain now.
God, I love him so much. He better come back. He better.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he wasn't in the original.
I know he wasn't.
That's why it's not as good.
Oh, you kidding me? If as someone who hasn't played Final Fantasy VII, you can tell when I'm like, this is definitely
Yeah.
not adapted at all. Like this is new.
This is new shit.
This is stupid. This has got to be new. Anyway, sorry, Kyle.
But
I kind
yeah.
of threw you off.
No, you're good. I kind of forgot what I was even talking about.
Snowboards.
You're about halfway
bad
through the second disc.
yeah.
is
Yeah,
what-
I'm about halfway into disc 2, and honestly, I am enjoying this game a lot. Like,
Mhm.
obviously, this wasn't a game that I grew up with, but if I did, I definitely see why people who did grow up with it would love it as much as they do. And it's a
It's one
shame
of
that I've kind of
those-
had a lot of stuff kind of spoiled, kind of ruined for me because of the internet and all the big FF7 exposure that happened in the 2000s internet. But you know, it is what it is.
I mean, I probably won't have time to even try to play FF7 base game before Rebirth comes out. But if there is, I might. If there is a point, if I get to the end of Rebirth and go, okay, I'm really fucking confused now, and I will go back and play it. Because I do think there's still some merit to me playing it. Because, like I say, other than the big spoiler, which you know everybody knows, I genuinely still know nothing other than what happened in Remake, which is not a very accurate retelling of those.
It's a
events.
very short bit of the actual OG.
So I'm like, I will have to give it a try at some point. But
Mhm.
I do kind of agree with you where it's like, I see some of these games like Final Fantasy VII or like Metal Gear and stuff like that, and it's stuff like people that had those. And to be fair, I had an opportunity to play Metal Gear. My dad was hugely into Metal Gear. I just never played them, right? But it's like I do
Yeah.
kind of go, oh, that kind of sucks because I wasn't there in the moment, or at least relatively in the moment. Whereas now I'm looking back with, I don't have nostalgia goggles for it, but the whole internet has nostalgia goggles for these games. So it's like it affects the way you play it because you know it's a popular or it's a really good game, and it's
You feel
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like the Squidward window meme.
Like
kind
I
of.
was talking with Dill about this in his stream. I popped in once when he was doing a speed run of 7 just to be like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah.
And I was talking with him and I'm like, I'm terrified to play games like this where like
Yeah.
it's so beloved and I'm like, what if I'm the one guy that doesn't really get along with it? I think I talked about this back when we did Resi 4 remake came out.
Oh yeah.
But
I was
it's
feeling
intimidating to go
that,
back
yeah.
to a game like this.
100%. Even if it's just a game you know that people love, it's always hard to go in
Mhm.
there and not be biased in a way. Because even it's like, 'cause it's like my first experience with Persona 5. You really like Persona 5. I have my friend Eamon, who played Persona 5 before him. I remember hearing him talk about it because he was playing it. And he was asking me questions about maths or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, I'm taking a test in school. I'm like, you take tests in Persona? This is so fucking weird. And it's like stuff like that, right? And it was like in my head when I was going through the tutorial and it wasn't clicking with me. It wasn't just me going, oh, I'm not sure if I like this. It's going, oh God, like, do I just not get it? Like it's like it's an added thing, right? Where it's not just do I
Yeah.
like it or not? It's do I not get it? Because everybody else likes this thing. Why don't I like it? Or am I gonna click with it? I feel like it's definitely an added pressure.
Mhm.
100%.
But no, I mean, I do enjoy this game. I'm gonna finish it, and I'd probably put it as like my top. I'd definitely put it in my top 5 of the Final Fantasies that I've played. It's probably number 5, but it's still top 5.
My list is pretty big now. I've played
Oh
2
yeah.
whole Final
You
Fantasies.
doubled it this year.
Hey, maybe next year we'll increase it again. Who knows? Um, it's like series like that super intimidating, right?
Mm.
It's like with that with how many there are. It's like yeah, playing the old ones. It's like maybe I won't click with them, but there's so many Final Fantasies where it's like I can never go back and play them all. I don't think
I mean,
because
you'll have a good backlog if nothing else,
I
if you
know,
do
but I just
decide, and
it's
they're all pretty much all available on
yeah.
PlayStation,
All of them
Unlike
except
all
other
for
except for
13.
13.
Oh yeah, unlike other publishers like cough fucking Atlas, like everything's readily available on modern
Mm.
platforms. So other than 13, you
And a
could
lot of
and
them are
13
just a
will
13's probably coming
30's on
soon.
its
I
way.
have to
13's gotta
100%.
be coming soon.
100%.
hopefully in a nice little trilogy package, but who knows?
Yeah. And then I
Maybe
think
they'll do yeah,
on PlayStation, one of the tiers of PlayStation Plus, from
premium, I think.
7
It's premium.
from yeah, from 7 up to 15, again, except for 13 trilogy because that doesn't exist. All of those are just available you to
Which is cool.
download.
Yeah. Which is very cool.
Mm.
I don't know. I'll get to it. I realized I was looking back at it, I'm like, I've got quite a lot of games to play. Like my like when I got Assassin's Creed, my dad was like, why have you bought that? I'm like, because I need it to play it for the podcast. He's like, but you've got like a load of games to play. I'm like, I don't have that many games. He's like, you haven't played Star Wars. I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't played Star Wars. I always keep forgetting about that fucker. I'll get to you eventually. Maybe by the end of this year, I will have played it.
At the beginning of this year, I did not think that I was going to be the one to have played Star Wars and you
I was
not.
supposed to review it.
I know. I hadn't even played Fallen Order yet. I was
No,
like,
yeah. It's just funny how that works, but it's like, you know, there's
Mm.
so much stuff. Now the Red Dead remaster's on my fucking hit list as well now that they've made it an
oh
actual
yeah.
remaster. That's can we talk about that? Is the funniest fucking like that is so funny. Like releasing dog shit like, oh yeah, look, it's just Red Dead again in 4K, $50 please. No. And then they're like, fine, 2 months later we'll patch it to have 60 FPS and we won't even fucking say anything for the first day. Like, what is that?
This is just for the people paying attention.
Talk about fucking shitty moves for Xbox people as well. They were like, we're not making a remaster for Xbox because you can play it under backwards compatibility, which is 4K 30. And now that PS5 has the 4K 60 option, yeah, Xbox people are rightfully like, can we have our remaster now? It's different and better.
Pretty please.
Fucking Rockstar, dude. Oh dear. Do you know what's we're gonna get GTA 6 before the next Naughty Dog project. We're gonna get
Oh,
it.
that's hilarious.
It's out next year. We're 100% getting a new Rockstar game.
You think so?
Yeah. 100%.
You think next year?
Yeah.
Even
They
if
said
it's
in
not
their-
next year, it'll be before the next new Naughty Dog thing.
They said
Well,
in
yeah,
that
that's a
earnings
given at
call.
this point.
They said something ridiculous, Carl. Like Take-Two said in that earnings call that they were expecting between like they were expecting between fall 2024 and spring 2025 for their earnings to go up by 2 billion or something. And it was like, oh, I wonder what that is. I wonder what that's gonna be. So
Yeah.
they basically just gave in that it's like, yeah, it's probably next year and it's probably next fall, which is crazy because that could be the potential of not only GTA 6, that might be the first Call of Duty under Xbox's fucking minefield. Assassin's Creed, whatever might be out. We love Assassin's Creed on this podcast. It's like it's gonna
Assassin's
be.
Creed Ninjas, yeah.
I feel like in terms of like normie AAA, it's gonna be stupid next year. Like, ugh, it's gonna be disgusting.
Like at this, like the only way I could get more normie is if Mortal Kombat came out next year instead of a few weeks ago.
I 100% believe that by that point, Hunter, they'll probably release.
There will be a combat pack or something.
There'll be
there'll
be an edition where all the characters from the first combat pack and probably the second will be in a complete edition or whatever.
Yeah, it'll have all the DLK.
Yeah.
Downloadable content with a K.
I hate that. That's grim. I don't like
that.
No.
He's got the branding correct. That's what they do. Every word that has C in it besides Johnny Cage for some reason. Johnny Cage gets to keep the C.
He's immune.
And everything else gets
the C
K.
belongs to him.
Oh god damn it. Anyway. Hunter,
anyways, Final Fantasy VII good.
Yeah.
Check it out if you feel like it.
If you haven't already.
That's a game that came out in 1997 before I was born.
Yeah, it's older than me, I think.
That's older than all of us.
Hang on, I need to know if it's older than me. I don't want to be the older person. Team. When did it come out? It was 1997. When did it come out? Oh, thank God, January. Hell yeah, boys. Rise and grind. We're all younger than Final Fantasy VII. Anyway, Hunter, round us out. You played Amnesia the Bunker. Obviously a high-quality video game.
Oh, yeah. Amnesia the Bunker. So, I still didn't get time to, like, finish it. I got pulled away. But I got pretty much to the end. I got pretty much to the end of whatever it is. So this one takes place in the World War I time period.
My favorite period of horror.
I mean, you know what? Horror games set in World War I, that's conceptually a neat idea.
Oh, 100%. I also want to say that. Well, no, it's setting during the World Wars and stuff like that's happened. I mean, that's where Call of Duty Zombies went crazy with all that stuff, was basically all the Nazi conspiracies and stuff like that. So it's like there's always, in both World Wars, there's always a semblance of horror, not just because of the actual horrors that happened, but also because of the conspiracy theories and everything surrounding it. There's always some interesting stuff. It's just always funny when you just hear the first thing about a horror thing. So it's World War I, and you're like, great, fun times all around them.
And like, from what I understand, this is like a natural progression, because it's funny because, Dark Descent came out way back forever ago. I didn't even know they made a second one until I got the Amnesia collection for the PS Plus several years after it came out. I'm like, what do you mean collection? There was only one of them. And then suddenly it was like, the second one here called Machine for Pigs. I've never played that. I might try to make it a point to play that this month. And then Rebirth came out a couple of years ago, and I have on good authority that one isn't very good. But they've all kind of progressed to a different era of history. Like,
well, you're gonna say they've all progressed downwards.
Like Dark Descent was kind of the late 1800s Gothic horror kind of thing. Machine for Pigs, from what I understand, was like Industrial Revolution kind of thing. And then I don't remember what Rebirth's time period was, but I don't really care. And now we're here at World War I, and the whole setup is like you do a short little playable tutorial thing, and then your character is dragging his little comrade away, and you get blown up or something.
March 1937 for Rebirth.
Okay.
So they just do what they feel like, Hunter. They just do what they feel.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, so after your little thing, you get blown up, and then you wake up to this, the titular bunker, where it seems like it is a ghost town, and then you see that, it seems like the people here are now pretty dead. You meet a guy who's dying, and he basically lays out what you gotta do. It's like, the officers ran away and blew up the exits, so you need to re-blow up the exit so that the debris clears.
Yes.
Yeah. So it does a pretty classic, you got to get your couple of things to make your way out kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 4 different areas you have to go to. It does the whole, to get here, you're gonna need to you got to get here to get your little detonator for the dynamite, but there's a padlock around the fence, so you need some chain cutters and that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all, well and good, decent structure. It's pretty easy to, once you figure out which path will have the thing you need, it's all pretty simple from there as far as where to go. The little twist here is that there's also like a monster hanging out in this bunker with you.
Hang on, Hunter heard a vehicle.
Hunter
They
got.
were very loud. I'm sorry. But
Sorry.
so this monster here, he'll come out and like eat you if you make too much noise, essentially. And there are also rats that'll hover around corpses and bite you to death and whatnot. So those are like the two primary threats. You got a generator that will like keep the lights on, which scares the monster away. He gets less aggro if you have the lights on. But the gameplay here still feels very much like it's holding on to the physics engine of Dark Descent, where it's like, yes, yeah, yes, click R2 to, and then move your stick to open a door. I'm like, why do I have to sit here and have to fight with whether it's a push or pull door right now?
I'll push if I want to push.
Yeah, and on top of that, they added like
Hey, door.
you get a gun and a crafting system in this game, and it's
Ooh,
like
Dead Space.
It's like rudimentary crafting thing. Like 2 bits of cloth will make a bandage. You can mix the cloth with a piece of wood to make a torch and all that kind of stuff. But like these kind of things added on top of each other. I don't really feels like it does much for the game that way. Like I really don't feel like having a gun is doing much of anything, because really it just makes the balance around the monster weird to me, because he runs away after you shoot him once. So
Okay.
that's lovely. Then that wouldn't be so bad if he didn't take like 3 million years to, like, he will growl forever before he actually rolls up to where you are to shoot him and make him run away. And it's like, okay. Eventually I did have him like pop back up after I shot him and scared him off once, and he rolled up when I was out of ammo, and I'm like, oh, well, shoot. But that was it, really. The one time I was more threatened by the rats that hover around the bodies, because they like eat you when you just get too close to them, if you don't have like a bit of fire to scare them away with. And I think that Plague Tale has just instilled an inherent sense of paranoia in me that the two of them means that there's going to be an entire tidal wave of them across the wall. But atmospherically, it's still pretty solid. The bunker is a relatively creepy place in general. I think that I just got to this part that was actually pretty solid, because you go into like this tunnel. It was like an excavation tunnel, so like you're feeling pretty detached from the bunker itself already into a further unknown. And there's like this dude singing some kind of campfire song and losing his mind, and he has a shotgun and he seems to be blind. And there's this fog that's probably made him go crazy. It made my character see like other people walking that weren't really there, that kind of thing. And I think that was pretty well done. The wind up to getting to that part I kind of glossed over, even though that's the part that kind of grossed me out. Was that's the room there was flooded, and my God, they really good at getting across. I feel like I got infected just witnessing my character walk through that water. I caught some kind of disease just playing that.
Lovely.
So yeah, they were pretty good at that. So that whole segment really well done. It's a little annoying that there's only one save point. Like there's the one central room that you got to keep running back to for your like storage box, and that's also where you go to refuel the generator and whatnot. And I think there was they gave you a reprieve with the tunnel because it was an especially long bit off to your little section of the bunker there, and there was a light there. But it was just annoying because it's like the monster doesn't really feel threatening to me, but it'll pop up every now and then and still manage to like eat me, and I just lose like 10 minutes of progress, and I'm like, well, now I'm just gonna run and hope to pull this off quicker than I did,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Is like it takes you out of it when that happens.
Mhm.
It's like if you would have just given me like, say, the first thing I did, I believe I got a code to unlock a locker that had a wrench in it, and the code for it was like down the one path. If they would have just had a save point at the end of that path for me to use after I got the code, and I'd be like, okay, fine, I got this now. It's up to me to get back to home base without dying.
Mhm. Yeah.
I feel like that would be reasonable. Not
Mhm.
start here, go there, come back, and don't die at all with your one-hit kill monster thing.
Oh yeah, but that's the challenge, Hunter. That's the
Yeah,
challenge.
and like,
Do it again, fucker.
mm,
You gonna learn.
it doesn't really
Yeah.
feel like there's much of a challenge there because
Yeah.
on the first attempt, half of the time I was aggroing the monsters because they were just like booby trapped doors and stuff. So it's like, wouldn't have been able to know that anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry. I did not mean to offend you. Oh, whatever you are. I don't even know. It's not a very scary design either. Like,
I looked it up. It's kind of funny looking.
yeah, and like it was kind of threatening when it's coming at you like all silhouetted through the fog of the dimly lit hallway, but I also got a pretty good look at it um pretty early on, so I was like,
Mm.
I played Dead Space earlier this year. You're no necromorph.
It's kind of goofy.
You're no necromorph. You're not even Chainsaw guy from Resi.
It does kind of look funny.
But the
It kind of looks
sanity
like an
effects
undead
from
version of
Dark
like the
Descent.
trolls from Lord of the Rings. You kind of got that kind of net going on, you know.
Yeah, like I said, the rats
His
were more
giant
threatening to
mouth.
me. This guy's just
Yeah.
kind of been annoying. But the sanity effects from Dark Descent also don't seem to be present. Like I've screwed her off in the dark a few times, and my guy's um, sanity seems to be as intact as it was at the beginning of the game. The only kind of thing that seems to happen is when you're looking directly at the monster, it'll give you a little whoosh, look at this screen effect on you. But that's it really. I mean, yeah, so it's one of those things. Uh, Still a decent enough game. It's just kind of like I think the collision of the two different mechanic things is kind of annoying me is all really. Because like I thought Dark Descent was fine for its time,
Yeah.
with its because it was in firmly in one lane there. Avoid monster, move on, don't stick around in the dark too long. I thought that was fine. Now suddenly it's like, oh yes, now manage your bullets and other stuff that doesn't really seem to add that much.
Yeah. No. Fair enough. Would you recommend people check it out then? I guess, especially as it's spooky season. What do you think?
Like if you're still looking for a horror game to play that's more recent and you've already hit like Resi and Dead Space this year, then it's still worth your time, I would say. It's still a decent enough thing. Probably especially if you already like the other ones. Like Dark Descent, from my memory, I haven't played it since I was in school, so it's like very foggy memories at this point, but it was all right. You know,
Fuck your memories, but it was alright. It was fine.
it's like I checked that out because people were all like, "Blah, it's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life," and I'm willing to say that unlike Five Nights at Freddy's, for example, that one had substance behind it.
How dare you? But Final Fantasy at Freddy's has a movie coming out, Hunter. God.
Yeah,
And
we're
it
all gonna
stars
go see
Shaggy
it.
from Scooby Doo and Matthew Lillard's in it.
Mm.
What? Who played Shaggy in the James Gunn Scooby-Doo movies, the live-action ones.
Well, you
And
see,
he now plays
Ethan,
Shaggy regularly because he was that good in those films, which rightfully so, he was very good at Shaggy in those live-action films.
last
But
year
now he
or
does the
so,
voice of Shaggy in the cartoons. Now that the previous one retired.
I became
Nice.
privy of a pretty much a Wish.com movie of a Five Nights at Freddy's setup that stars Nicolas Cage. So if I'm gonna watch any kind of Five Nights at Freddy's adjacent film, it's gonna be that one.
I just because it's by I think the Five Nights at Freddy's movies by the guys at the Blumhouse guys.
Oh yeah.
Which if you didn't know, they make horror movies, one, quite frequently, and two, quite cheaply.
Yeah.
Not to say not quality, but what I mean is apparently the film was that cheap to make that the guy like Jason Blum was literally like, we don't care, this film could literally be the biggest flop like of all time, people could hate it, we've already made a profit on it from selling the streaming rights to the movie. Like that's how cheap
That's
this film
incredible.
was,
Oh
where
my
they were like,
god.
just the streaming rights alone make the movie profitable. I'm like, fucking hell, that's
I mean, there's
stupid.
still like
Yeah.
a 80% chance that I would, if I did watch that movie, I would like it more than the game.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, it's got a $25 million budget.
Yeah.
For a 109-minute movie.
Which is a very cheap budget for a
Aye.
movie. So yeah. But no. That's also out this month, which makes sense.
Yeah,
It'll come out
October
on the
27th. Look forward to
Close.
Ethan's review of it.
No
October
chance of
20th.
that.
Pretty sure.
Look forward to that episode of the podcast.
I'm pretty sure that's Alan Wake Day. Bad luck, Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm busy.
What a shame. Anyway, let's wrap it up. We've been here long enough. It's nearly been 2 hours again. You better not expect
Don't
this.
get too
normal.
comfy.
Next week.
Yeah. Next week, filler week.
Oh boy, I
Hell
gotta
yeah.
play more horror games.
It's
more
supposed to be
than
this
one
week, but Assassin's Creed pushed itself forward, so you lucky ducks. So now we've
Ethan
got
can
nothing
play
planned next week.
Forza.
I'm not playing Forza. I cannot be bothered. But
Why
yeah,
not, dude? It's your favorite game.
no,
You draft it every year.
I like Forza Horizon. I don't care about Forza. It's like in the same way I don't care about Gran Turismo. The reason I like Forza Horizon is because it's stupid. It's like fun racing. It's not realistic. It's just like fun racing and jumping
Make
off
your
of
car
doing
jump
stunt
and do
jumps
a
and stuff
barrel
like that.
roll.
Yeah, it's, not barrel rolls, but still, it's like GTA races. It's like people always look at me strange where I'm like, yeah, I've got like 800 hours in GTA 5, and like 60% of it is probably me doing fucking stunt races in online, just like doing stupid stunt jumps and stuff like that. I love goofy racing stuff. It's my favorite thing in anything. It's great. But no, next week, who knows what we'll talk about? I don't. We'll find out when Hunter tells us the day before. It'll be great fun. Who knows? I mean, to be fair, Hunter, this probably is, if you wanted to do a horror, well, I guess we could do a horror theme one strapped to Alan Wake 2, but it's like, this is the only filler episode of this month, because obviously following week, Spider-Man is here, and so is Mario Bros. Wonder, because Nintendo, you couldn't have made Mario this week? You couldn't have made that work?
Because they hate us.
And then obviously the week after that is Alan Wake 2. Very exciting.
The problem is we've already used the easy horror ideas for the other Halloween episodes.
That's what
All
you
right,
think.
hear me out. A spooky quiz show.
Oh yes, let me just ask you guys trivia about
fans.
Silent Hill and Resident Evil.
I can answer some Resident Evil questions probably.
No, I couldn't.
I've played 3 of them.
I've played 4.
Hit you with the real deep cuts. Like what was the other game that's not Devil May Cry that came out of Resident Evil 4's development cycle?
Oh fucking hell! What is it? I feel like I've heard this one.
That's too deep of a cut.
I feel like I've heard this one. Tell me, what is it?
So it would be Haunting Ground. That's the original version of Resident Evil 4 has a little reference to it, and the dog that helps you out that you can save from the bear trap he looks like the dog from Haunting Ground. It kind of spun off.
I wouldn't have got it, Carl. I wouldn't have got it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Our links are on screen. Let me find the button. There we go. There we go. On screen. Now, you can go follow us on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with what we do outside of the podcast. Yeah, I guess. And then obviously, if you want to watch the video version of Gosh Stupid Faces, go to youtube.com/hotgamersonly. We're trying to get 300 subs. We'd appreciate it. Or follow us on podcasts. Just search for Hot Gamers Only. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, whatever. You name it, we're on it. Go check us out there. Leave a positive review if you haven't already. We'd really appreciate it. Next week, filler. Following week, Spidey-Man and Mario Wonder.
Top
Following
10
week after that,
pumpkins in
Alan
video
Wake.
games.
Following week after that, more filler. A week after that, who knows? You'll have to find out. But video games are here, guys. Buckle up. You have officially 2 weeks to be absolutely blown away by Assassin's Creed Mirage. Great game. Be fun. Anyway, that's all for this week. We'll be back same time, same place next week for more. But until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.